Missed the 4 games against the Cardinals, and he makes up for lost time with a long drive to left center out of the ballpark for a 2-run homer. And 3 pitches into this game, the Mets have a 2-0 lead.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Shea Station podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jack, aka Jolly. Joining me as always is my guy Jerry Blevins. The Mets have just won another series at Coors Field, taking 2 out of 3 from the Rocks. They're 28-15. They're flying high. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm great, man. Good clip. Good Gary Cohen clip. That's
like that?
Awesome. The home run for Starling Marte after coming off the bereavement list.
Beautiful moment.
That was cool, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a different intro for us every time. Keep it fresh. Keep it in tune with everything. Today is a very special day, Monday, May 23rd. It is the birthday of our guy, our fearless leader, Buck Showalter. He's celebrating, I think, 66 years on planet Earth. So happy birthday, Buck. Hope he has a good one today with the Mets win.
Happy birthday to the fearless leader, Mr. Buck Showalter. It is his birthday. He is 66 years old today.
Nailed it. Beautiful.
Doing it.
Happy for Buck. Hopefully the Mets give him a nice present today.
They will.
They gave him an early present yesterday by wrapping up another series win against the Colorado Rockies. These guys have been on a roll. They don't lose 2 games in a row pretty much ever, and I'm very excited to talk about them today. It's another good series win. Honestly, a couple great moments from this series, but it kind of just felt like business as usual a little bit. Kind of feels like the norm now.
It did, yeah, especially with what kind of the loss of Scherzer.
Yeah. With
McGill going down, we had, Trevor Williams coming in. We needed Cookie a little bit of a bounce back. So we had some, possibilities of a little bit of a snowball effect heading us down a negative path. But the Mets do what they've done, business as usual, next man up in this season of 2022 so far, and they took care of business, man. They won 2 out of 3 in a very difficult place to play in Coors Field, and a team that's been dominating at home. And we took 2 out of 3, won the series, and we're off to San Francisco.
Hell yeah. So Friday we got snowed out, which usually doesn't happen in May, but it happened for our Mets. So they didn't get to play their first game of the set. Saturday turned into a doubleheader. I honestly thought that the doubleheader might get canceled too because of how much it was snowing in the morning. But the skies just cleared up. The grounds crew did an awesome job clearing the field, and we were ready to go at 3 p.m. Eastern time. That's when Starling Marte cracked a 2-run homer on the first pitch back from the bereavement list. Very happy for him. Very sweet moment. The Mets grabbed an early 2-0 lead. Patrick Mazeika, who's been getting a lot of playing time in the absence of McCann, he had a 2-run double in the second. That was paved by a Jose Iglesias throwing error, and this was all Cookie needed. In his first start ever at Coors Field, he looked like he had been pitching there for years. 5 1/3 innings, 1 earned run, 7 hits. No walks for Cookie in the start, which is becoming a regular thing. 4 strikeouts on 87 pitches. Cookie has more starts this season than he does walks, 8 to 7 there, which is a crazy stat. And then the Mets just kind of handled business from there on. Adam Ottavino, Drew Smith, and Seth Lugo went 3 2/3 scoreless in relief. Drew went 3 up, 3 down on 9 pitches. That was really nice to see because he's been kind of shaky lately, so a nice scoreless outing there for him. Lugo tossed 2 innings, which was also a very welcome sight. He hadn't done that in almost a year, since August 3rd of 2021, so that was very cool. The Mets just went 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 men on base, but it didn't matter because they outplayed a team that they should have outplayed and won game 1 5-1. And as always, Jerry gets the short end for game 2.
Yeah, quick game 1.
Yeah.
I love seeing Drew Smith go 3 up, 3 down, and then Lugo tossing 2 really good clean innings was great. Game 2, as the aforementioned, bleak outcome for my only game of the series, the Mets lose. So let's see what happened. Trevor Williams taking the rubber after pitching 4 shutout innings against the St. Louis Cardinals. He gets tie block, making his first start in a few years for the Colorado Rockies in game 2. The Mets, but despite 3 hits in the first inning, don't score a run, which is kind of rare these days. So they leave some chances out there in the bottom of the first. CJ Cron, who I mentioned in the series preview as a hot hitter, tagged Trevor Williams in the first inning 2-run home run. The Mets grabbed 2 right back and a Nito RBI single and a Nimmo sac fly in the second. Rockies respond again with Brian Serven, who in his first big league hit has a 2-run home run to left. Good for him, not good for your Mets. Trevor Williams gets roughed up here. In 4 innings, 4 runs, 3 hits, 2 strikeouts, and those 2 home runs. And then in the 6th, he makes it 4-3 with JD Davis as an RBI single. Then for some reason, he decides that he wants to steal second base with 2 outs. The Mets, he gets thrown out for the 3rd out there with Nito, who already had an RBI up. And then in the bottom of the 6th, it's 4-3. This is where the kind of wheels fall off. Adonis Medina falters, gives up 5. Shreve gives up 5. And then Reed and Jolie toss 2 scoreless. But the Mets lose 11-3 after having a chance at 4-3. And then the 6th inning just kind of fell apart for them. They lose game 2 of the only game I get in this series for another L for your boy Blev.
I think I need to I want to pull up the stats of like our game recaps, like our record in game recap, because I feel like the Mets just lose game 2 every time.
You always get 1 and 3, so a lot of the 3-run or 3-game series you're getting 1st and 3rd, and I only get 1. So your total is higher. I'm just you're the reliever. I'm just picking my spots,
and but
you're getting all the dubs.
We can't switch up the juju, Jerry. Like we have to keep if they keep winning,
I'm taking it for the team.
All right, you're a team player. I appreciate that. Also, I think Brian Serven fulfills the profile of a Met killer perfectly. I had no idea who he was coming into this series. He's a backup catcher, and he crushed 2 home runs in one game. It just
2
makes
home runs in
perfect sense.
Wonderful, man. He looked good too. Obviously, we talked about him throwing out. He had his 2 first hits in the big leagues are 2 home runs, 2 2-run home runs.
Yeah, very nice.
And he threw out JD Davis, the speed guy that's running all over the place.
Yeah, so JD kind of killed the rally there, even though he had an RBI hit. That kind of just set in motion the Game 2 loss. So it was important to come back strong in Game 3. I did not have a pitching duel between Austin Gomber and Taijuan Walker in my book at Coors Field, but that's exactly what happened. Walker was really, really good in this start. He struck out a season-high 6 batters, 7 shutout innings for Taijuan, 5 hits, 2 walks. No home runs yet again for Taijuan Walker, which is a really good sign, especially at that high elevation in Coors Field through 97 pitches. He's the only pitcher in MLB this season to throw at least 7 scoreless inside Coors Field, which is very cool. He escaped 1st and 2nd, nobody out in the 7th. Buck stuck with his guy, which I love. You can run into some problems there, but Buck trusted his starter. He got the double play and then another ground ball after that. The Mets came through against Austin Gomber. Gomber has a pretty good track record against us. He shut us out, I think, over 8 innings last year, and then he was pretty good through 6 this time around. The Mets cracked him in the 7th thanks to another costly error by the Rockies, a Grichuk fielding error, which did not look good. Kind of fielded like an infielder in right field.
It bounced on him a little bit higher than he had expected, and Nimmo with a base hit ends up on 3rd.
Yeah, great awareness by Nimmo too. Could have easily just ended up at 2nd there. Instead, he took the turn and went to 3rd.
That's what you get for all those sprints down first base. Every once in a while, they'll pay off, and he got an extra base there, and that puts the pressure on immediately.
Yep, and Lindor, who is always catching slack every single day for some reason, came through with an RBI single to make it 1-0. Alonso's RBI groundout gave him 37 RBIs on the year, tied for first in MLB with Jose Ramirez. And then the bullpen, spotless again. Ottavino walked 2 batters, but got through it. Joely Rodriguez got his clutch out as always, and then Edwin Diaz came out for his 10th save of the year, struck out 2 batters. The Mets win this one 2-0. They take the series 2-1. They improve to 28-15. And here's the kicker, the most fun stat about the Mets this year. They've won 14 consecutive games following a loss. They haven't lost back-to-back games since April 10th and 11th. That's incredible.
Yes. And that's the only time. One time they've lost 2 games in a row. That is wild. That shows you, what kind of fight this team has on a day-in-day basis. They play until the last pitch is thrown. And then they play every day, man. Every game, even twice a day. They were coming for your throats. Yep. This is a bulldog of a team. Doesn't matter who's on this roster. They are trying to win every pitch, every inning, every game. It's awesome.
Bring the snow, bring the rain. It doesn't matter. The Mets are going to get you in the end. So that's a great way to kick off the West Coast road trip.
Yeah.
Another stat I saw, which I was surprised by, but it does make sense because of just kind of the formula of this team. The Mets have yet to win more than 3 games in a row, but they've won 3 games in a row 5 times this season. So they're not a streaky team, really. You're kind of seeing what you get. Like every other day, the Mets are going to lose a game, then they're going to rattle off a couple wins, and they just don't lose series. And I think it's a good formula because, with these streaky teams sometimes, like we saw the Cardinals go on like a 20-game winning streak last year. Obviously, that's great and a really fun watch for Mets fans. baseball fans in general. But I don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's kind of my moniker right now for this team.
Yeah, man, it's a beautiful brand of baseball. It's a sustainable. They're not doing anything crazy. We talked about it a few times how the analytics department of people would see on paper how the Mets are winning and their exit velocity is down because they're just blooping it, but it's strategic. And if you're watching this team, you're seeing what they're trying to do. They're hitting it the other way. I do think the Mets are capable of having like one of those 20-game streaks because they've got a lot of guys that aren't hitting home runs. And if those all kind of come together for a run, you're going to see them just destroy teams. But this is the type of fight they have. They're going to take the base hit through the hole. Lindor isn't hitting 300, but he's getting clutch when he has RBI opportunities, which is, you can't, on paper, you're like, how does he have so many RBI? It's a freak thing, but he's coming up clutch. When he needs to go the other way, he goes the other way. When he needs to pull it, he pulls it. Sack, fly, all the above. And so it's good. I wanted to say one thing about these Colorado Rockies before we move on.
Yep.
Connor Joe, maybe the silkiest hair in all the land.
Great ball player.
Good, really good. Played a good first base, made some really good plays in right field, but that hair, I have to give a shout out. Silky straight black hair. I was like, is he wearing like a do-rag or like a bandana or something?
All clean.
Just silky. As a guy who had the long hair for a while, pretty impressed.
You got to ask him what products he uses. Maybe you can take some notes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that he might have the best smile on the Rockies. I think that he may be their Mr. Smile. Like ours is Lindor, obviously, but Connor Joe just looks like he's having a blast out there.
He does look like he's having a good time. Servin was pretty much enjoying his MLB, first 2 home runs. Chris Bryant's a handsome fellow with those baby blues and that dark hair combo. I feel like we're in Trevor Plouffe territory talking about Hot Boys.
The Rockies
which
have some hot
I'm
boys,
okay with.
Man. They do.
I'm okay with. But yeah, that's Connor Joe. Very impressed with his style of play.
Yeah.
They got a good group of young ball players coming up. Once they said bye to Raimel Tapia, your boy.
Damn.
Damn. But I like this team. They're in a tough division, but they're scrappy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very glad that our team does not play in the NL West because it really looks like there's just no breathing room top to bottom in this division. I mean, like, we kind of all were perplexed at the Rockies offseason moves to make that 6-year deal for Chris Bryant. But, I mean, the results are there so far.
It.
Like, I don't get it, but also, like, the Rockies have the highest attendance out of any baseball team they have for, like, the past 5 years. They deserve some sort of winning product on the field, so I'm happy for their fans at least.
Some guy to choose, to cheer for. Yeah, I like that. I like it too.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Mets did not crank it offensively in this series, which is a little bit worrisome. They had 10 runs in 3 games, a lot of missed opportunities with runners in scoring position. But, I mean, aside from the bullpen blow-up between Medina and Shreve and kind of the shaky start from T-Will, the pitching looked real good in this series.
Yeah, man. Again, just shout out to those guys. It's hard to pitch in Colorado. Your ball doesn't do the same thing it does normally. Like, it literally is weird. You have to make adjustments on the fly. So that whole, Shreve he gave up some hits, but he also, you get beat sometimes.
Yeah.
He didn't make terrible pitches.
You were telling me about like how you had to throw your changeup a lot more at Coors, right?
Yeah. So I couldn't throw a cutter because it didn't do anything. And then my changeup became like, it would cut like the normal way I would throw a changeup and it would go in and then kind of break down and into a lefty away to a righty. It wouldn't do that. It became a cutter.
Yeah.
And so I would throw my changeup and I would throw it in a count where I would throw a cutter and it became effective that way. So you're just like, you're reinventing yourself there. But I'm sure Ottavino having a history of playing there really helped the guys out that hadn't been there before.
Yeah.
Or even the guys that had been there before. He's like, here, these are the things that you need to do to prepare. Take your cleats off, take your socks off, walk in the grass beforehand, get yourself grounded.
I saw that clip.
And then, he gives you tips on how to pitch. So, they did a good job, man. It's a tough place to play. Elevation is high. Like you don't feel it until you're out there running your sprints. And then you're like, why am I so winded already? And it's because of the elevation, dude. It really is different. If you've never ran it out at altitude before, it's different.
Yeah. Medina had kind of a rude awakening in his Coors Field debut. He's been so good this season that I still got the faith, especially because he's a 4-pitch reliever. Like, he will come back around, I'm sure.
If you're going to blow it up there. And Shreve too. If you're both going to have a blow up, it's going to happen. It's baseball. These are really good hitters too. Just pile them together. Get it all out, get blown out 11-4 in one ball game, and then it's done.
You're washed clean. Yeah, I mean, Shreve, exactly. I think he had like a 1.5 this season, and the last 3 starts has taken him up to a 4.5. He wasn't going to be a sub-2 reliever forever. I just hope that he can return to being effective, and Buck uses him in the right spots. But, I mean, they won the Cookie game, and they won the Taiwan game. And that's the most important part to me, because those are the guys that need to pick it up in the absence of Scherzer and DeGrom. We need these guys to be their prime versions of themselves. And Taiwan looked so good in his start yesterday. Really confident. Really attacking with the high fastball like you said he would in our series probables.
Are you foreshadowing?
Maybe I am a little bit. I don't know. All right, guys. I just want to thank today's sponsor, which is Greg Morris Cards. They're the most trusted sports card seller on the planet, proven by science. GMC, they sell over 80,000 sports cards every month, which is over 2,000 a day, if you can believe that. That's all exclusively on eBay. They sold over 1 million cards in 2021 last year. GMC is known for selling vintage cards, but they also sell modern cards, including all of today's stars. Starling Marte, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Jacob deGrom. There's no other stars unless they play on the New York Mets. You guys know that. There's free combined shipping when you order 2 or more cards from them. And why do people trust GMC for buying cards? Well, their team has been hand grading every card they sell for years. Buyers trust their grades, and if Greg says the card is mint, you know that the card is mint. So go to gregmorriscards.com to see their inventory. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all other social media platforms to see all their deals and content. And this month, only when you check out, send them a message through eBay saying you heard about GMC through Jomboy and get $5 off your order of $50 or more. That's gregmorriscards.com. Check it out, guys.
Let's get right into the apple of our eye.
I'm excited for this one. I'm excited because I'm gonna go first because I'm amped up for this.
Let's do it.
The stars have aligned. No one had a huge monster performance where we needed to pick them, so I can finally go with my guy who I've been trying to praise for a while now. Luis Guillorme is the apple of my eye.
I love it. Good for Louis.
I mean, you look at his stat line in these 3 games. He went 5 for 7, which is a great batting average clip. Nothing really outside of that. 5 singles. But Luis Guillorme, I think that we talked a lot when Robinson Cano got released about what this means for J.D. Davis and what this means for Dom Smith and how they're going to get more opportunities. I never thought that the guy that it would benefit the most is Luis Guillorme. Because Luis Guillorme, if you look at his past week of games, is an everyday starter now. And I think it's really, really cool. I mean, aside from just his 5 hits that he made, he had a very clutch play during Taiwan's start where he just made it look seamless at third base. And Eddie's been good at third. He had a really shaky series against the Cardinals, and I think that's what a lot of people are remembering right now, recency bias, whatever. But Guillorme is just so silky smooth wherever you put him. And him and Lindor on the left side of the field is just such a fun watch to have as a Mets fan. And I feel like I tweeted this before, but I feel like we're watching Guillorme blossom before our very eyes, getting to play every day, working every count, very similar to McNeil. It's like having 2 McNeils in the lineup a little bit because these guys just slap the ball. They're not trying to hit home runs, either of them, and they're working the count every single time. I would not be shocked if we see Guillorme rise in the order sooner rather than later, just because I think he's one of Buck's favorite guys. He plays sound defense. He's never striking out. And he's been an absolute joy to watch this season. So Luis Guillorme, the apple of my eye.
I love it. Well deserved, man. It seems because he looks like an old man, but he's only 27. He's been around for a long time.
Yep.
This is when he's entering his prime. He's never really had the chance to have a sustained spot in this lineup.
Yep.
And he had a really good 2020. I think he hit 333. Yeah, he hit 333 with an 865 OPS. And he's doing kind of that right now at 338 with an 857 OPS. Like, he's not, I don't know if he's going to sustain this kind of ability. And I love what Mark Canha said about they're like, what's going on with Luis Guillorme? He's a hot hitter. And Canna's like, don't say he's a hot hitter.
He's good hitter.
He's getting the results of what he's trying to do. He's being productive. He's a good hitter. This is what he expects from himself. And that's true, man. I think it's, he hasn't had the chance to identify who he is as a player besides how good he is with his glove.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a good pinch hitter. We know he doesn't have, 20 home run capability in there, at least at this point in his career. He hasn't shown that kind of ability, but this is his first taste of real sustained playing time. Buck is finding spots to put him in because he is doing so well. And it's awesome because if you're hitting and you're a plus defender, it's easy to put you in that lineup. I don't see him moving up.
Mm-hmm.
I think comfort level pressure wise is smarter at the back end of that lineup. And it's just a bonus when you get some kind of added production from that guy. But yeah, good for him. He deserves the apple. Did you go over his stats?
Yeah, I want to touch on a couple things here. He started only 8 games in April. Now he has 12 starts in May, and the month's not over yet, so he's probably going to get a couple more before the month ends. He's 15 for 38 in May, 4 walks to go along with that, only 6 strikeouts, a homer, 3 RBI, 2 doubles, a 395 batting average, a 965 OPS in May. Luis Guillorme is breaking out. If you're not on the train, you better get on, guys, because it's taking off. It's taking off.
And that's good, man. This is what Buck Showalter does too. It's we talked about it last time. What are you doing? Are you performing? Then you're going to get in there. If you're throwing really well, you're going to get out there. It's merit based. You are earning your playing time and you're rolling with it. This is about the team. It isn't about the name, your salary, how much money you make, your superstar, your Twitter follows. This is about how good you're playing baseball. And Luis Guillorme is playing a great game of baseball, and so he's getting out there. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's worrisome news for Dom and JD, but at the same time, like, we're down some guys right now. We got to play our best lineup. We got to put our best guys out there. And
at some point, one of those or both of those guys are going to get the hot ticket, and they're going to start to play really hot, and they're going to start to be the one cycling in a little bit more, getting more playing time, moving around. So It's 162 games right now. This is LG's, moment. He's shining. I'm happy for him. He's a good teammate, a good ball player. I'm happy he's getting his time to shine. So it's good.
Jerry, who's your apple going to?
So I was going to pick Luis Guillorme as well, but I'm going to do what apparently I've done a few times already in the history of our podcast. And I am giving the apple of my eye to Mr. Taijuan Walker. I mean, what a performance.
Yep.
The guy was absolutely dominant. Let's look at his line here. 7 innings pitched, no runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 6 punchies. Just dominant at a place where you don't do that.
Yep.
You don't go 7 shutout innings in today's ball game. You don't do that at Coors Field. We needed it. He stepped up. Buck gave him a couple of opportunities to work out of it, and he did. There was a moment in like the 5th where he had some runners on and came out of it. There was in the 7th inning, they were like, oh, he's got like 84 pitches. Is he coming back out? He came back out, got runners on 1st and 2nd with nobody out, and then shut it down. He just came up clutch. He looks great. That fastball up that we talked about has that zip. He's been able to locate that splitter. He's been throwing a lot of first pitch curveballs to lefties and righties to get ahead.
Yep.
He looks great. And, I'm always kind of watching him, trying to see his body language, if he's feeling, sore, what he's working through. But he's been really good. He looks fantastic. I'm happy for Taijuan. He is the apple of my eye.
Very nice for Taijuan. That splitter that we keep talking about, this might have been, weirdly enough, at Coors Field, the best that it's looked all season. He threw it 30 times this start. He got 21 swings and 7 whiffs on that thing, which is a season high for him. He was just attacking the zone. He was not afraid of this Rockies lineup, not afraid of what the ballpark might do to him. And I think Taijuan needs a swagger back, and I feel like he has it right now. I feel like maybe he was questioning his spot in the rotation a little bit before when we had 6 options, and now we're down to really 4 true guys, so he knows he has to be a guy for this team, and I think he wants to be a guy for this team. He was an all-star last year. He had an incredible first half, and I feel like people are undermining him a little bit because of what happened at the tail end of last season, and I really love that Taijuan is shoving right now. And, he's got some tough matchups coming up soon, but he just looks as confident as he was last year, and that's exactly what we need right now.
He earned it. Between him and Cookie, those are the 2 performances we needed out of both of those guys. This is what this Mets team has been doing. They've been stepping up in moments when the team needs them, and that's exactly what we needed from Taijuan. He looks really good, and it's not like it just kind of like it's just sustainable. The way our offense plays, it's kind of like what he's doing. If he can continue to spot, he's not going to win every game, and he's not going to throw 7 shutout every game. But if he's able to execute his pitches like he did during this series, he's going to have success every time out because he was locating his fastball where he needed to. He was throwing a splitty for strikes and getting the chase when he needed to, and he was able to spin that curveball for a first pitch strike. That is a recipe for success in the big leagues because you're going to be able to have success against every lineup. You're not going to win every game. You're not going to throw a shutout every game, but that is a very, very repeatable way to be successful.
Yeah, and I talked about it when he had to start against St. Louis. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, tons of base runners in that game, but he kept his composure. He still wasn't afraid to throw his A pitches and use that curveball like you were talking about before. A lot of first pitch curveballs in this last start, but it really feels like he trusts that pitch now. And it's not giving up a lot of home runs to where it was last year, where it was getting hung in the zone a little bit. And that fastball looks way more untouchable than even it was in his great starts last year. And I feel like he's just locating it better. He's trusting himself. And as long as he keeps that home run ball down, I think that is the X factor for Taijuan because it's what killed him last year in the second half. And I feel like, if you can do it at Coors Field, you can do it anywhere,
Yeah, that's true. I like it. So I want to, you put up a couple of options here in the apple of our eye notes. Shout out to Starling Marte for coming back off the bereavement list with that home run. Pete Alonso goes 4 for 9 with a double. Nimmo 4 for 11 with an RBI and a walk. Cookie 5 1/3 with only 1 run. Just a good series for the guys. Happy to get out of there, and they're on their way to San Francisco.
Yeah, it could have been a bad one for Starling, especially because he was hot, went on the bereavement list, and then had to come back in Colorado, but he just kept doing what he was doing prior. Hopefully he continues to trend upward because he was really starting to come around.
He looked really good before he left. It's his swing he's putting the barrel on the ball quite a bit. He was doing his disruptor style of baseball. I love it. So.
Yeah. So I thought we'd take you guys around the NL East just for a quick check-in. We don't do this every episode because we don't want to standings watch too much, but the Mets have developed a pretty good lead here, 8 games in the National League East. The Braves and Marlins played. The Braves took 2 out of 3. They have a lot of slumping hitters in their lineup right now. Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, all kind of struggling in the month of May. Braves are 5-6 in their last 11. Marlins are 6-14 in May after kind of being the second-place team in the NL East. The Phillies were able to squeak one out in the final game of their set against the Dodgers. They lost 2 out of 3. They lost 5 of their last 7. They scored just 12 runs in their last 6 games. Did you see how the final game of that Phillies-Dodgers set went? Did you see what happened at the end?
I didn't.
They went extra. They went extras. Dodgers took the lead, and then the Phillies were 1 out away from losing, 1 strike away from losing, I think. And Max Muncy, who I think moved to second base because of defensive issues or whatever, had a routine ground ball go right to him. He muffed it. They were able to bring home 2 runs on the ground ball, and they were able to win the game 4-3 when it very easily could have been a sweep. So good for the Phillies, I guess. They got some luck there.
Yeah, Muncy's he's not hitting, and now he's making errors. He played second base, I think, when they
had him in Oakland, right? They had him at second base.
Yeah, and he's played second base in the past. And he's done it earlier this season too.
Yeah. So Phillies
when they signed Freddie Freeman, he was like, "I'll play second." So
that would make their lineup crazy if he was hitting. So I don't know when that's going to come around. Hopefully he stays
Turner
cold.
just came back and he's hitting well now. And Muncy. So
I don't need them to heat up for when we play them, so hopefully they can stay cold a little bit for 2 more weeks. But we'll see.
So the Braves Marlins series, the Braves took 2 of 3. Do you know the game that they didn't win?
The Sandy Alcantara game.
So Sandy Alcantara, that's what I was looking up. He went CG.
Yeah,
against the Braves.
One of the only guys that really does that anymore.
Dude, their rotation, their pitching is incredible. So he went 9, 6 hits, 3 runs, no earned runs, 2 walks, 7 punchies. He's got a 2.11 ERA on the season, only threw 115 pitches. He is really damn good. Maybe the most, I guess, underrated starting pitcher in the National League right now because nobody talks about him, and he is fantastic.
He was my dark horse to win the Cy Young this year. He kind of had a rough start, but he's really coming around now. If that Marlins lineup can just wake up, they can very easily be a scary team because they just pitch so damn. Pablo Lopez has been so good this year too. Like
Rogers, yeah.
Rogers kind of a slow start, but I'm sure he'll come around because he was so good last year. The Mets don't play them for a while still. I think
this schedule, the crunched up schedule, and because of the lockout, it's kind of weird, and it's setting. We're going to the West Coast, back home, back to the West Coast. That's silly.
That's tough.
But there's things like that all through the whole schedule. So
yeah. Little rankings roundup for the Mets. Jerry, give me that echo. I want to hear it again.
Yeah. Rankings roundup. Rankings roundup.
Little Gilbert Godfrey there, a little bit.
I don't know. I was doing like a weird circus, maybe. Okay. I don't know.
Like circus announcer. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could see you in that little carnival top hat. Get that going.
I don't know if I'm offended or I'm impressed.
You should be gracious that I could picture you in that. It means you're a versatile character. Come on, man.
Okay, I'll take that.
Mets rotation.
You want to put me in the Zac Efron or the Hugh Jackman role?
Hugh Jackman role for sure. I don't see Zac Efron in you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hugh Jackman, is that bad?
No, not at all.
Exactly. He's the greatest showman.
I agree. I like that his range is he's either doing a Broadway show or he's Wolverine. I've always liked that about Hugh Jackman.
Dude, he is like he's a musical guy. He just happened to be like, they're like, hey, try this. And he's incredible as Logan, as Wolverine.
Yeah.
But this is his bread and butter. What he likes to do is like Broadway.
Yeah, now he's doing Music Man, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's just,
good for
what
Hugh.
A guy.
Good for Hugh.
Yep.
Hopefully a friend of the pod in the future. Is he a Mets fan? He might be. Who knows?
He's probably a cricket guy.
That probably makes more sense. Mets rotation, still very, very good without our 2 Cy Youngs in there. 5.8 walk percentage is second in MLB right now. 23.4 strikeout percentage, 9th in MLB. 3.26 ERA is 6th in MLB, and their 1.10 whip is 3rd among all major league teams. Offense is still cranking, doing what they do best. They're 2nd in MLB for strikeout percentage at 19.8 and on-base percentage at 3.28. 253 batting average, dropped from 2nd to 3rd in this last set. Still batting 253, so that's a good mark there. 194 runs is 6th on the year. And then the 3 offensive guys that we always shout out. Brandon Nimmo, his 390 on base is 4th in the NL. Jeff McHits, 306 batting average is 5th in the NL. And then Pete Alonso, who is getting a lot of MVP rumors love from SNY. I saw that a lot this weekend. He's getting attacked for it as well. 10 home runs is tied for 2nd in the NL. 37 RBI is 1st in the National League, tied for the Major League lead with Jose Ramirez. Very nice for our guy, the Polar Bear. Well, I mean,
Polar Bear.
Can I get your temperature on this? Is there a shot in the world that Pete Alonso can take home the NL MVP? Do you really think so?
I do. Why not?
I don't know, man. Because we've never won one, so I'm always conditioned to believe that we never will.
I mean, he doesn't have your prototypical, especially in today's era of you have to play like a premium defensive spot,
right?
But Freddie Freeman won it. How long ago did Freddie Freeman?
2020
win?
Was when he won it.
2020.
Yeah.
First baseman. He's better at first than Pete Alonso is, but Pete Alonso is a better home run hitter. I don't know if you drive in 140 runs, hard to argue against. There's a lot of his WAR is never going to be high enough.
Yeah.
To compete, you're going to have to fight against. I mean, Harper's not playing the field right now. Juan Soto looks human.
It's Manny Machado's the guy to beat right now.
Yeah, Machado's like on another planet right now. Yeah. Like, it's not even close. But I mean, Giambi, this is a flashback to like your power guy that plays first base and hits absolute home runs. I love it. There's no reason I don't see him in the argument again for winning the MVP. He's going to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I feel like this is the Mets' closest shot since like David Wright was around, really, in those like late 2000s teams. Like, I think Alonso's plate discipline has been good. He has a 349 on base. He has that RBI lead, 10 home runs. Like, I'm conditioned to believe it won't happen, and I feel like a lot of people, are maybe under, because I saw the segment that was like, would you rather have Pete Alonso for the next 5 or Aaron Judge for the next 5? Alonso's a great player. I don't know if he's a top 5 player in MLB yet, but like, he could certainly get there with the kind of season that he's having right now. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're taking Judge or Pete Alonso,
you take Judge, like, for sure.
I don't know, man.
Wow.
Because, well, I mean, if all things being equal and they play 162 games, each, you're going to take Judge. Yeah. But Judge hasn't shown that he could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Alonso has. Pete Alonso plays every day. Judge has been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So that factors in for me. But I wanted to make a counterpoint to your MVP since David Wright. There is one guy that got close, and my computer's going slow right now.
Cespedes.
Not just Cespedes. There's a pitcher that almost won MVP. He got 5th in the voting. His name is Jacob deGrom.
Yes, sir.
In that 2018 season, he finished 5th. I think that might be the closest.
Can I ask you, as a pitcher, do you think that if it's warranted, a pitcher should win MVP in any case?
Absolutely. Okay. I do think there should be another, they call it the Hank Aaron Award for like most outstanding hitter, but there should be a Cy Young. There should be a hitter version of the Cy Young, and then there should be the MVP.
Okay, interesting.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, Verlander won it, I think, a few years ago. I think the 2012 NL MVP that went to Kutch, that was kind of one where, like, a pitcher might have won if he had an otherworldly season, just because, like, all those guys were kind of in line. But, yeah, the closest I think we've seen somebody come to it was that 2018 DeGrom season.
Yeah, I mean, Yelich hit 326, OPS of 1,000, had 36, 110, 22 bags.
Tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look at WAR, which is what you should look at, Yelich was 7.3. DeGrom that year was 9.9.
Yeah, he was the leader in WAR that year.
Not even freaking close.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild. That was the year he had a 1.7 ERA. Like, so if you're going to go straight analytics, that's
I don't know. Depends who you are.
I do think because last year in the American League, it's not fair. Ohtani is the MVP.
He's just going to win every year if he stays healthy.
But he wasn't the best hitter in the game.
That's true.
He was, that went to, I mean, it was not an argument, but it was Vladdy Jr.
Right.
Was incredible and was a way better offensive producer than Ohtani. But Ohtani, with how good he was on the mound,
And that's why I kind of like your awards idea for the AL, because I don't think Ohtani would have been the Cy Young or the Hank Aaron, but he would have been the MVP. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So it would have been 3 different awards.
He deserved it, but he didn't win the Cy Young because who did that go to last year in the AL?
AL Cy Young was Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray. And then Vladdy Jr. should have won whatever the hitter's version of that. And then the MVP is Ohtani because he's top 10 in both sides at that point. You can't touch that.
Yeah, man.
But I think there should be a way for a pitcher to win both.
I like that perspective in the existence of Shohei Ohtani, because I feel like even though Ohtani doesn't exist, you get a double up winner every year because it's either the best hitter or the best pitcher. Whatever.
Yeah, and that comes down to, like, what is it? What would be a comparative, like, that's like I don't know why this popped into my head, but it's like the grand champion at what's that dog show? Westminster Dog Show.
God, I'm not going to remember the name of this, but
I think it's the Westminster Dog Show.
I'll trust you.
I don't even know why that popped into my head, but like the grand champion.
That's like, a very popular sport. I get it. People
the
bet
pound
on it
for pound kind of, I don't know.
Are you like an avid dog sport watcher?
I am not.
Is this what I'm figuring out about you?
When is that on?
Isn't it during the Super Bowl? Or
I think it's like either right before a major sporting event or right after.
Jerry, if you're an avid fan, you should know this. Come on.
I do like the movie Dog Show, which is hilarious. Have you ever seen that movie?
I have not. I've seen Hotel Levy. For
Dogs. I can't think of her name, but the mom from
Jack,
Schitt's Creek.
Can you pull up Dog Show and see the actress's
The
name?
mom from Schitt's Creek and Eugene Levy, the Schitt's Creek duo.
Producer Jack's
they're best in show. It's brilliant.
He's gonna pull up the name.
Catherine O'Hara, I think that's her name.
Jack is a Catherine O'Hara.
Give me 1 sec. I'm pulling
Okay,
it up.
he's working hard right now.
Audio Jack
What's
chiming
it
in.
called?
Good. Hey,
Dog
everybody.
Show?
Audio
Dog
Jack.
Show, the movie. This is a really
Is it
good episode.
Best in Show?
Best in Show. Best
There
in
it
Show.
is. There it is. This is why we have him. It's perfect.
Where's
Research
IMDb?
team.
All right.
All right.
It is Catherine O'Hara. I think that's her first name.
I mean, I wanted him to
Best
find
in
it.
Show cast.
He's really struggling here.
Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
Eugene Levy.
So if you like Schitt's Creek, you would like
I
Best
do
in
like
Show.
Schitt's Creek. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Jane Lynch.
So Best in Show
Jane
is
Lynch
like
was
that.
in it too. Huh?
Jennifer
Weird-
Coolidge.
Whoa, this is a crazy movie.
It's like a weird British humor. Who directed that?
Director.
Is that Paul Thomas Anderson?
It might be.
PTA.
Christopher Guest.
Oh, Christopher Guest. He's the guy from what's the British
All right, I'm in an IMDb hole now.
I know. Hold on.
my
What's
favorite thing to
what's
do.
the Life of Brian?
Oh, Monty Python?
Monty Python. Christopher Guest is a Monty Python guy, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So it's a very British humor, Best in Show. If you're like the Royal Tenenbaums, that kind of
I love that movie.
weird sense of humor, then you'll like
Wes
Best in
Anderson.
Show.
That's not my favorite Wes Anderson, though. I don't think it is.
Wes Anderson. I said Paul Thomas Anderson. Not even in the same.
They're both really
category.
good, but they're very different. So
Very
I get-
different.
Yeah.
They have the same last name.
Yeah. So it's kind of
Yeah,
easy to
but
compare.
They're
Maybe
both
related.
amazing filmmakers, but definitely not the same.
Yeah, for sure.
We've gone down the rabbit hole. Sorry, all your Shea Station listeners, but we are in a
Maybe
movie
they
pod.
enjoyed it. Maybe we need a cinema pod. You never know.
I'm in.
Jerry.
Jomboy movies.
Who are we playing next?
All right, we're previewing the San Francisco Giants. We have a 3-game set out in San Francisco. We have David Peterson coming in after being great for his first couple of starts, went down to AAA, also did really good. He's going against Alex Cobb, who's had kind of an up and down year. He's throwing a lot harder, but the results aren't there. They're looking to iron him out. Peterson's taking Scherzer's spot in this rotation. It's his first start since made third. He has yet to reach 6 innings in a start this year by design. They've been pulling him a little bit early, trying to keep that confidence up. But it'll be interesting to see if he's cruising, how they handle him. Cobb against the Mets on 419, went 4 1/3, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits, 4 Ks. He got hurt that game. And then in his last start, he went 5 1/3, gave up 7 on 10 hits, 1 walk, only 4 Ks. That's what Coors Field would do to most people, not Taijuan Walker.
Not Taijuan Walker.
Eddie Escobar is 4 for 13 in his career against Cobb with a home run. Game 2, Christopher Bassett back in the Bay Area, going up against Cy Young candidate Logan Webb and his 3.54 ERA. Logan Webb against 419 against these New York Mets only went 3 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 6 hits, 3 walks, and 1 K. He did not look himself. He's kind of had a weird start to his year. He doesn't look as sharp as he was in the past. And he's been throwing a lot of balls, allowing a lot of walks, which is good for this Mets lineup that's very patient. Speaking of patient, Mark Canha in his career against Logan Webb is 4 for 7 with 2 home runs. Love to see that.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon Crawford in his career against Chris Bassett is 4 for 9 with a home run. The San Francisco Giants rotation ERA is 4.24, which is 19th in the National League. Bullpen ERA of 3.83. Not in the National League, in Major League, because there's not that many teams in the National League.
Analysis.
And 18th in the MLB.
Yeah, not kind of lower than I would expect for this guy. Like,
Yeah,
these guys
they've had-
shut people out last year. It was crazy.
Yeah, they've had some up and downs. They haven't been hitting the home runs, but they're still producing at a high rate.
Yeah.
Which I'll get into in a minute. But game 3, we are speculating that Thomas Szapucki is going to be making his 2022 season debut in the big leagues against Jacob Junis and his 2.7 ERA. That guy is pitching lights out. Jolly mentioned it beforehand that he thinks he's their like reclamation project for this year.
Yeah.
That we're going to say, the Kevin Gausman, kind of out of nowhere to elite. Szapucki following ulnar transposition surgery. That's where they move the nerve that's after UCL surgery because it's getting inflamed. He's got 22 innings pitched with a sparkling 2.86 ERA and 30 Ks. Jacob Junis has gone at least 5 innings in all 5 of his starts this year, which is pretty impressive. And his last game, he had it was his first giving up more than 2 earned runs in a start. It was against the Padres. He went 6, gave up 4 on 7 hits. 2 Ks and a big home run. Lindor in his career, which is quite extensive off of Jacob Junis and his former iteration in Kansas City, is 18 for 36, That's 500 and a big sample size with 5 home runs and 14 RBI. So I'm safe to say that you're going to see Francisco Lindor in the lineup against that guy. Mark Canha and Eddie have also homered off Junis in their career. So that is the pitching matchups.
Very nice. Well done, as always.
Team that you're going to want to look up and pay attention to. I highlighted Connor Joe last series. Darren Ruff is pretty hot.
Yeah.
He's started off kind of shaky, and then our boy Wilmer Flores is looking good, and he's always done well against the Mets, it feels like. But those are the two guys. They've had some of their stars are struggling. Longoria's coming back from injury. He hasn't really been swinging it very well. But Ruff and Wilmer have been hitting the ball really well.
Yeah, Brandon Belt hit the IL, so he won't be around for this series. Joey Bart had a really hot start to the season. He's really cooled down. He's batting just 162 now.
He had a hot start?
Yeah. Joey Bart had a really good first 2 weeks of the season, but he's really come back down to earth. Jock had a really good April. He's kind of simmered down a little bit. We're kind of catching the Giants in a good spot right now, if I'm being completely honest. Like a lot of the guys, a big guy for me right now is Mikey Stremski. He's been pretty good the past couple of weeks.
Yaz and Ruff are their two best hitters right now.
Yeah, so I'd look out for
They're
Yaz.
Probably going to be 3-4, 3-4-5 somewhere in that area in the lineup. Yastrzemski was maybe their best reclamation project, a guy that kind of off the trash heap and has been all-star level player. So
yeah, I think everybody kind of thought that Cobb was going to be the guy that comes to the rotation and gets his career turned around. Instead, it's been Jacob Junis, who's been really, really good for the San Francisco Giants. I don't know what they unlocked with him, but he's been excellent. So that should be an interesting Game 3 matchup. I'm really interested to see how Thomas Szapucki does. He's been good at AAA this year. He only threw that one inning for us last year and then got injured. He's a guy that was drafted in 2015, long time ago, and has taken sort of a longer time since his high school days to get to the major leagues. This kind of seems like it's his prime moment. This is going to be his best shot to prove that he belongs at the MLB level, and he's got a tough test with the San Francisco Giants in his first start. But, I mean, it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks until Scherzer comes back. We don't know if it's going to be Trevor Williams going forward, Szapucki going forward, maybe Trevor Cahill, who the Mets signed to a minor league deal, former teammate of yours, right? I think.
Yeah, they signed. When did they sign Trevor?
A couple weeks ago. Kind of flew under the radar. Now it's being
missed
like.
That. I'm gonna shoot him a text.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a guy you played with in your A's days. I think didn't he win Rookie of the Year over there? Or I think he was really good, and he got some Cy Young votes. Then they flipped him to Arizona.
He had a great start. He's reinvented himself a few times.
Yeah,
just a good power sinker, but he's been 4-seamer curveball. He's a good pitcher. That's a good depth piece. I'm glad they signed him. He's a good guy.
I think he's hanging out at AAA right now. Mets love their sinker ball pitchers. It's no secret. So I'm really looking for PD and Bassett to come through in this series. I'm kind of glad Bassett got to dodge Coors Field because he's been giving up a lot of home runs lately. Happy for PD. I'm curious to see what length they have him at because I think they're really trying to preserve this bullpen in this 6-week stretch as best as they can. But PD has that sparkling 1.89 ERA. Hasn't faced the Giants yet, but he's looked good in all the starts.
This is going to be kind of the biggest pressure that Chris Bassett has faced in our rotation because he's the guy. He's our number one right now. And they're going to need him because we've got, basically our 6th and 7th, guys in our rotation right now. Szapucki's auditioning, but I think that all things going well, he might have a couple of trips through this rotation. If he looks semi-stable because he's the guy that they're going to want to need, and another lefty in that rotation would be nice to go with Peterson. I know Peterson's going to get a couple trips because he's earned it with his previous starts, but this is a big test and Bassett's he's going to, be the guy anyway, but they're going to be looking for him to put up, a really good start.
Yeah.
He's not pressured to be a shutout, but they're going to look for him to be steady presence.
Yeah, we're still waiting on further updates on Tyler McGill. We don't exactly know where he's at with his current timetable. We know Scherzer's 4 to 6 weeks. So Szapucki's tenure is kind of dependent on, 1, his performance, obviously, but 2, how fast Tyler McGill is able to heal with his injury.
I thought max was 6 to 8.
Oh, 6 to 8, excuse me. I kept saying 4 to 6. I'm getting people's hopes up. That's my bad.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. I would love 4 to 6, but I think 6 to 8 is the correct number.
But yeah, 4 to 6 days, please.
So a quick road trip here on the West Coast. The Mets are going to come back to the West Coast after they play Philly and Washington. So tough for them, but
that's a tough. It's tough. This is part of the grind of this lockout shortened time frame. They're just like, hey, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
So be it. Everybody has to do some form of suck it up during the season, and this is their version. And the Mets with Showalter and their veteran presence will be like, look, yeah, it sucks. Guess what? I still got to go out there and perform. So guys won't give themselves time to complain. They will go out there and do what they got to do. Maybe spend an extra 20 minutes in that hot tub getting loose, but they'll be fine.
Yeah, so the Mets took 3 or 4 from the Giants in their first meeting at Citi Field. Hopefully we can continue the winning ways. It would be huge to score winning records against both the Cardinals and the Giants this early in the season. And yeah, man, just keep taking 2 out of 3. Do what you guys do. Get on base. Draw your walks against the team that's walking a lot of batters and not hitting a lot of home runs. It seems like it's a good matchup for the Mets, catching the Giants at a good time when they're not blazing hot like they were all of last year.
Yeah, you should see guys taking advantage of this hot and stormy 50-degree weather that they're going to get.
Yeah.
After playing in the 40s there for that first day. But yeah, this will be a good series. The Giants may be kind of down a little bit, but they're going to scrap. They got a good leadership, good team, a good organization. So they're going to fight, man. They're going to try to win too. Nice to take another series. Let's get them.
That's all I got, Jer. You got anything
I'm
else?
done as well. I don't want to talk anymore. We already went down a movie rabbit hole. I don't want to send too many people scurrying away from Shea Station to try to find our Jomboy Shea podcast for movies.
I think they liked it. They might have. Let us know.
We'll see. You get the feedback. I don't get anything.
Tweet at Jerry then.
No. Don't tweet at me.
Tweet at Jerry.
Tweet at me. I love it.
Hey, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
We'll see you guys next time.
Alonso to his left, flip to the ground, and the